much for containment. Poor bastard.
Yeah. Those EMAT guys never had a hope in hell.
You see those bodies back there? All melting and shit?
Approach enemies unnoticed for silent takedowns.
Now, how safe is your home against an earthquake? You might think that's an odd question if you don't live in California, but you'd be wrong. Increased seismic activity over the last 3 years is a statistical fact across the continental United States. And it's affecting areas previously thought safe from any serious earthquake threat. From New York State, Michelle Sikorsky has this.
Yes, Derek. For decades now, the people of New York State have lived easy in the knowledge that they're thousands of miles from the nearest dangerous fault zone. But in fact, New York is among the 2 or 3 most seismically active states in the eastern USA. There have been literally hundreds of minor tremors over the history of the state, and 1 or 2 big ones, too. Now, with modern building codes, quakes such as these would not normally be cause for much concern. But here in Albany, Cornell seismologist Jim Durney is advising the state legislature that all this may be about to change. So, Jim, you've been measuring some pretty substantial tremors, is that right?
Yes, that's right, Michelle. Over the last 3 years or so, we've seen a substantial rise in the frequency of small seismic events across the state. At first, it looked as if this was in line with similar activity elsewhere around the globe. But there's been a sudden spike in both frequency and intensity over the last few days, and frankly, we're at a loss to explain what's causing it.
Attempting system restart. Pre-purge active. Pre-purge complete. Stand by. Magnetic seals released. Warning. Foreign contaminant detected. Automatic system shutdown commencing.
Force open security doors.
Listen, something pretty massive just happened to the suit link. Whole thing went down. I think it's back now, but you better get here fast. Everything's falling apart. Infected all over the place. Poor bastards. And Cellar out on the cull. Plus the Zephyr's starting to show up too. Look, stick to the subways. It's gotta be safer than the streets. Hope you brought those Marines. Alters the nanosuit's outer surface to absorb damage and increase operator survivability in combat. Armor mode requires suit energy. Increased probability of survival near exploding conditions.
It's Prophet! Take it down!
Huh? Saw something move. Affirmative. Check it out and report back.
Maximum.
Copy. Primary target. Affirmative.
Maximum armor.
Damn it!
action. The Seth wiped out half their squad up in Greenwich Village.
He's right. We got it easy down here. Midtown's fucking chaos, man.
You call this easy? These people, man. They ain't people no more. They're a biohazard.
All right, shit. Lancaster, check the intersection. Hicks, we'll take the diner.
Roger that.
There's nothing out there.
Affirmative. Sweep area
He's dead. We have a man down.
target. Lost visual. Copy. Watch him out. Sweep the area. Damn it. Keep the pressure on!
Nuts. Nuts.
Down there!
Nuts.
No target. Confirm, man down. Nothing here. All clear.
Everything I can to carry them all. What's left then? Going to see the face of God. You guys gotta be ready for that. Gotta be clean. And be clean inside. Inside's what it counts. And I've done everything I can. Everything.
Crime enforcement and local logistics operate within a full federal mandate. Obey them as I say.
Always been filled by the National Guard. But with so much environmental fallout over the last 3 or 4 years, experience has shown that a PMC like Cell operates at a significant saving to the taxpayer. The Rawson administration's groundbreaking policy work in this area shows us...
Eric Rawson. Now that was a president.
Right, Derek, right. As I was saying, the Rawson administration... The current administration has followed the recommendations laid down in their policy work, and there's no question that Crynet enforcement and local logistics has offered very good value for money in Los Angeles, in Miami, in Austin, Texas, and of course in Seattle and...
Seattle, of course.
So, there seems to be no need to question their role here, or to complain about measures that are, frankly, unavoidable. That's what the White House is saying.
Alex Kwang there, reporting from Washington, D.C. on the current media restrictions in force in New York State. Other news coming up. Does accepting free healthcare make you un-American? A new social study from scientists in North Carolina says yes. And the Alaska secessionists who were shot last week during a protest. Did they deserve it? Stay with us. See you after the break.
Prophet, maybe the subway wasn't the best idea. I'm reading dozens of heat signatures right underneath
Shit!
you.
Get off me!
Watch
Get
your
the
step
fuck
down
off me!
there.
Ah! I've done everything I can to carry them all. Has God be ready for that? Gotta be clean inside. Inside's what it counts. And I've done everything I can. Everything.
Die!
It's a nest! Get out of there, Prophet!
Find an alternate route.
Terrorist, man. Gotta be. Some African jungle shit. Ebola or something. They've been spraying it from a plane. Look at me, man. Look at me!
Intercepting enemy transmission.
This is Commander Lockhart to all cell personnel. Despite all medical attempts to reverse the effects of the cellular breakdown in the infected, we have found no viable cure. Evacuation is no longer an option. A shoot-to-kill discretion is now vested citywide, to be exercised upon any suspicion of infection. Further to this, nanosuit subject, Prophet, is also designated as an active biohazard. Prophet is to be shot on sight.